Now, I've looked into your background and I'm finding you've got a lot of things behind you for a young lady like yourself. You've got, you're a writer.
Yes, I am.
Author.
Mm-hmm.
You're a teacher.
Yep.
Singer-songwriter.
Yep.
And you actually do performances.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not just something you do in the bathroom. You actually go on stage and clubs and you do it. You've been doing it for a long while?
A long time. Since they smacked my bottom in the maternity ward, I've been singing. So,
You've been
yeah.
singing, you didn't stop
Singing
singing.
that long, yeah.
All right. Now, behind all that is a family as well.
Mm-hmm.
You've got children,
Yeah.
grandchildren. You're not
Yeah.
old enough to be having grandchildren. And a partner who's very supportive of you. And I've met nearly most of your family, and I know they're very supportive.
Yeah.
Right? But today I'm going to look at certain things that you do. The books,
Mm-hmm.
what are they about?
Well, I write books based on world history.
Mm-hmm,
So that's one thing. It's a series of books. The one thing about history is series. And with children come up and meet inventors that can help them with problems that are raised within their lives, maybe.
So this existing inventors or old inventors? What are they?
Well, people from the past.
From the past?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
ghosts and...
Yeah.
But I've seen the books and they come up very clearly. Who does the graphics for you?
I think my publishing company was BIS Publications, and Cindy Soso, I think, is the lady that does the graphics within the books.
I know Cindy, yes.
Yeah, but plus we've had two great illustrators that have worked on the books, John Snowden and Jennifer Lewis.
Jennifer Lewis, I know the name. That's the one who did yours, the illustrations for the first.
Yes, the Maze and Mastura book.
Okay,
Yeah,
I remember the name at the bottom of the book.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. So how did you start writing books for children under 5, was it? Or
Well, between 5 and 13, because as well as being a story, they're
It's
also
informative.
very informative. There's a
Okay.
fact file at the back, so you can use it for research projects.
okay, so how many have
The
you written
like.
then?
I've written 5. 2 are published at the moment, and it's obviously, because it's a series, it's going to span, a lot further than just the 5 books.
How many more?
We'll see. Time will tell.
Well, so, and writing, did it come easy for you, or was it this niche you wanted? Why this children's?
It's quite funny because I always wanted to write. Start, stop. Then in 2007, a concept came to me, and I ran with it, and it really worked. So I've kind of stuck with that idea, and try to bring that into, the project, and it's working, and people love the books. I've had some great feedback. I was just about
to ask how well are they received, because I saw some publicity photos that were quite encouraging.
Yeah.
So you have 2 books. What are the titles? Mostly.
Yeah, there's Mosey meets John Lee Love, The Broken Pencil.
Oh yeah.
And then there's Mazer and Mastura. They meet Alexander Miles, The Elevator Doors. So that's the 2, and then I have, like I said, a few thereafter.
So are you based solely in London, or the books, are they travelling well? Let me ask.
They're travelling well worldwide. I think as far as New York, my aunt, she's out there and so forth. And I'm sure that the publishers have suggested that they're in the Caribbean as well. So I should be meeting up with my publishers to find out what's really actually happening, because I'm a little bit in the dark about that one,
All right.
So, yeah.
Oh, tell me about Gambia. I saw something about Gambia in Africa.
Well, I went out last year and donated a fair amount of books to a few different schools. So they're out there.
So we add on the list philanthropy as well, isn't it? That's very good.
Yeah.
So how are they? Did you read with the children?
Well, it was lovely how they did welcome us in to distribute the books to them, and they took various ones, some nursery children that took them in. They was holding up the books. They were all really excited, and then some older children, and there was about 3 or 4 different schools that I approached. So I've kept in touch with the headmaster of some of the schools, but what they really need are, old computers and things like this. They would welcome a lot of these things,
So anything you can do to help those schools, and children are hungry for reading.
Yes,
they want to do things.
Yes,
you saw that, so you don't walk into a class and people. No, they're really keen to read.
And there was a young girl, because in Africa you've got to pay for education. I think it's free in Kenya now. When we was out in Kenya, it was just getting free education, but the majority of schools you have to pay to go to them. So the children really do appreciate education, and you could see that in the work, beautifully handwritten work. It was so lovely to see.
What does it make you feel as a teacher when you see that kind of reception?
Just the appreciation for learning, and not with knowledge. I say all the time, with knowledge comes power, isn't it?
Absolutely. Right.
And just to be even educated about oneself, it's important. So I do think highly of education. It's nice when young people want to learn here. Quite sadly, I think that because education is not respected as much.
I see. Why do you think that is?
I just think that in the Western world we just take too much for granted, really. I think
I met a French maths teacher, and he was saying the same thing about French schools, because we think it's just happening in UK, but it's across the Western, culture as well. It's like everything is too available.
Yep.
So they don't have to fight for anything.
No.
So it becomes blasé. So as you teach, and do you follow the same way? First of all, what kind of songs do you sing when and write as a songwriter? Because with the books you see you've aimed at the children.
Yeah.
What are the tunes? Where do you go?
The tunes, they come differently. I don't so much teach how to write songs, although I did do a workshop for a year with some young students, and we were able to produce a whole album, and it's a brilliant album, and it all came from the young people. So just taught them how to structure a song and how to write words and how they can rhyme or not rhyme.
In the general public yet?
It's not out in the general public, no.